Yo, what is up, guys? Joker here, bringing you another video for Path of Exile 2, going over my starter. The beta launches here in 15 hours, so I'm cutting it relatively close, but I finally did sit down and plan something out. I ran a poll of Monk versus Mercenary, and Monk was winning quite drastically, and then I was seeing a bunch of videos pop up on YouTube, and a lot of people are playing Mercenary, so I kind of don't want to play Mercenary. So I sat down and I theory crafted an Invoker, right? And let's go over that. So for my Ascendancies, it is going to look something like this. I'm going to be taking Sunder my enemies, then I am the Blizzard, then I shall rage, and then scatter them to the winds. Depending on how this feels, if I feel like I am a glass cannon or I just feel like I have no defenses, then I may swap out the scatter the winds and I shall rage, or I don't know. I would have to work my points around, because then I would plan on going down the protect me from harm route, right? Where my evasion would give me physical damage reduction. I don't know, but as of right now, sunder enemies, I'm the Blizzard, I shall rage and scatter them to the winds. Our skills are going to look something like this. I'm planning on using Ice Strike. I was looking through the skills and honestly, pseudo underwhelmed by a lot of them. I know a lot of people are probably going to be going more of like a spell casting invoker, because that honestly seems like the better play. But I, once again, didn't want to do the thing that I assume a lot of people are going to do. So I came up with this, right? We have Ice Strike, we have Added Cold, we have Ice Bite, we have Biting Frost, we have Glaciation, and we have Crit Damage. So, in theory, how this is going to work is I'm going to be attacking twice and building up a lot of freeze. Then I'm going to be prepping a powerful third hit that is going to be a crit, because I'm going to be trying to use the third hit when the enemy is frozen, and it's going to guarantee a crit. The crit is going to ignore their LE res, right? In theory, this should work relatively well, but even if I don't stagger attacks and I'm just spamming, the fact that this has a 1.4 attack speed base is kind of nutty. I'm going to be attacking a lot of times per second. And then the added cold is because we only have a 79% added damage, right? So that kind of sucks, especially since it has no flat damage. So I'm going to be trying to bank on getting a quarterstaff that has like large PDPS, right? And then we have Ice Bite, which is attacks gain 20% of damage as extra cold for 5 seconds on freezing an enemy. So this says just attacks gain 20% of damage. I believe this should go ahead and be my converted damage, right? So this should be all of my damage. This should be a decent damage increase. Then we have Biting Frost. Once again, I explained how that works. It's going to freeze an enemy and guarantee a crit. The main reason for this is pairing it with Sunder my enemies to guarantee that my crit ignores their defense. So I have a guaranteed crit and I have guaranteed ignored LE res. And then we have Glaciation, because I want to try to freeze enemies as much as possible. So this gives us 30% more build-up freeze against chilled enemies. And then we have the critical damage. Now, this actually says something different if I go over here, right? If I go to crit, and where is it? Critical damage. It says have 100% increased critical damage bonus and 20% less crit hit chance. that if this is what the gym does, right? If the gym has the 20% less crit hit, then that is good. That's like perfect for what I'm planning because I have a guaranteed crit anyways. I don't care about crit chance because I'm guaranteeing my own crits. I'm manufacturing them myself. So if it works like that, then it's really good. If it works like this, it's significantly less good, right? Where it says supported skills deal 20% less damage with hits because I'm already kind of not doing a super ton of damage and essentially banking off my crit. But once again, this is way down the path. This is like my sixth gym that I would be socketing in. So this would be when I'm in game essentially, right? So I'd have plenty of time to mess around with a bunch of stuff and see if there's a better gym. Because if like multi-strike exists, then I'd really want to put multi-strike in here for that more powerful third hit, right? But yeah, that's going to be my main skill. We're going to be attacking a ton of times per second, building up a large amount of freeze. And then once the enemy is frozen, we're going to be slamming it really, really hard, consuming the freeze and smacking it with a big dick crit. And then our other skills are essentially all supporting this, right? We have Herald of Ice for multiple reasons. This is going to be pseudo CC to make sure that I don't get swarmed by mobs, right? I'm hoping that if this does not kill enemies with the explosion, at the very least, it shields them, meaning that I don't get swarmed by a million enemies. It's kind of like a pseudo defensive layer by chilling everywhere, everything in that area. Then we're using Killing Palm to give me Culling Strike because I already don't have a super ton of damage. So the fact that I'm going to be able to cool things is going to be super helpful. We're going to be using Defiance Banner situationally, mainly dropping it in bosses as pretty much our only defensive layer. Later down the road, if we do go protect me from harm, evasion counts as PDR, which would be really good because this is giving me more armor and evasion. So it should theoretically make me super tanky against physical damage as well as give me a decent amount of evasion, right? Then we have Combat Frenzy. Combat Frenzy is going to be giving me a frenzy charge every time that I freeze an enemy, no more than once every 6.3 seconds. It kind of sucks that it's every 6.3 seconds, but theoretically it should be fine because I probably won't be freezing enemies or at least bosses much more than every 6.3 seconds anyways. And if frenzy charges do the same thing that they did in PoE, where they give you the more damage and the more attack speed, it's going to be really good there too, because the more damage on top of my fat crit, right? I feel like it's going to pair really well in there. If not, at the very least, it's going to hopefully give me attack speed and move speed. And then we have the last part, Freezing Mark. Freezing Mark is going to be attached to Hand of Shula. What does Hand of Shula do? It's going to be applying a mark and a curse onto an enemy. From what I'm understanding, you can apply both. You have one of each. So I'm planning on using Enfeeble as a defensive layer, make bosses do less damage to me. And then I'm using Freezing Mark once again to build up freeze. With Freezing Mark and Glaciation, that's 100% more freeze, right? So I feel like I should be able to even freeze bosses relatively well. And I mean, honestly, worst case scenario, this is a button that I just push like every 8 seconds or every time I encounter a tankier mob, right? Because I'm going to be pushing it every 8 seconds against bosses, or I'm going to be pushing it whenever I encounter a tanky mob. But that's essentially the game plan right now. I have pseudo defensive layers in evasion, chill, freeze, and enfeeble. And then I have theoretically damage in glaciation, giving me a free freeze that ignores their elemental res, right? Chances are this is not going to work the way that I'm thinking, and I'm going to be ZDPS and hate it. But one thing that I am really good at is smashing my head against a brick wall until I get things to work. That's how I play normal Path of Exile with some of my stupid builds. So I'm planning on doing that same thing with PoE2 of just smashing my face against the wall until it works. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my game plan. I'm most likely going to be streaming League Start. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It all depends on how League Start goes because, like, if the servers are super shitty, I mean, that's not that entertaining, right? To watch me crash every 4 seconds. But yeah, but you can get a pet if you gift 2 subs to a PoE2 streamer, you get a really sexy Chimera pet. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so you're naturally going to be getting some free MTX from just watching people's streams, right? So you get this energizing bolt flask effect. You're going to be getting this halo ring. And then the thing that I really care about is this guy, right? If you gift 2 Twitch subs to a streamer, you're going to be getting this cool Chimera pet. I'm not saying who you have to gift subs to. Um, you don't have to gift subs to anyone. What am I saying? But yeah, if you want the pet, I highly recommend it because this is going to be a PoE 1 pet as well, right? Since all the MTX is now cross platform. So I plan on gifting 2 subs as well just to get that pet because I've said it before. I'm a pet slut. I love pets. I am, yeah, that was like an amazing reveal when I saw that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop ranting. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. I'm going to be going over how this Path of Exile 2 starter goes. And when I reroll, I will definitely be going over that. But then the videos that I'm planning on making directly after are going to be like a recap of what I found out about Act 1, Act 2, the Ascension trial, stuff like that. Any tips and tricks that I find along the way, stuff like that as well. But yeah, I'm going to stop ranting. Until next time, take care.